I never thought my own sister would take the person I loved most. But life does not ask us before it changes everything. It just happens. And now, I am here, trying to understand what went wrong. I met Henry when I was 16. He was in my school. He had a warm smile and kind eyes. He was not loud. He was not the best student. But he was good to me. We sat next to each other in history class. He helped me when I didn't understand something. He always said, "You can do it, Arya." I believed him. I trusted his words. We became close. We shared stories. He told me about his dog, Max. I told him about my dream to be a teacher. We laughed a lot. One day, after class, he asked, "Do you want to walk home together?" I said yes. That walk was the start of everything. From that day, Henry became my boyfriend. We were together all through high school. He gave me simple gifts, a book, a keychain, a small flower, nothing big, but every gift came with a smile. And that smile made me feel special. After school, we went to college. It was in the same city, so we could still see each other. I was happy. I felt safe. I thought our love was strong. I thought he would be mine forever. Then, things began to change. My younger sister Bella joined our college. She is 2 years younger than me. She has long hair and soft eyes. People say she is very pretty. She is also smart. She studies art. She paints and draws and always has something to say. At first, I liked that Bella was near. We could have lunch together. We could talk after class. She said she liked Henry too, as my boyfriend. She smiled and said, "You are lucky, Arya." But soon, she started spending more time with us. I didn't think much of it in the beginning. She laughed at Henry's jokes more than I did. She sat closer to him. She asked for his help with her work. One evening, I saw them talking near the library. They didn't see me. Henry was smiling at her. Bella touched his arm. It looked too soft, too close. My heart felt tight, but I told myself, don't think too much. Still, something was not right. Henry started to change. He stopped calling me every night. He said he was busy. He did not ask how my day was. He forgot our plans. When we met, he looked at his phone more than at me. Sometimes he looked sad. Other times, he looked far away. One night I asked him, "Henry, do you still love me?" He looked at me. His eyes did not shine. He said, "Of course I do." But his voice was low. I felt cold inside. Later, I asked Bella, "Why do you talk to Henry so much?" She smiled. "We are just friends." "Don't be silly." But I didn't feel silly. I felt scared. Then something happened that broke me. I walked into a cafe one afternoon. I was going to meet a friend. But there, at the corner table, I saw them. Henry and Bella. They were sitting together. Her hand was on his. They were talking very softly. When they saw me, both looked shocked. I stood still. I wanted to scream, but I didn't. I turned and walked out. That night, I cried. I cried into my pillow. I asked myself, why? What did I do wrong? The next day, I didn't go to college. I stayed in bed. My mom knocked on the door. Aria, are you sick? No, I said. I didn't tell her anything. I couldn't. A few days later, Henry came to see me. He stood at the door and said, Aria, can we talk? I didn't want to see him, but I let him in. He sat down and looked at the floor. I'm sorry, he said. Sorry for what? I asked. I didn't plan it, he said. It just happened. I care about you, but I also care about Bella. I felt like the air left my body. Do you love her? I asked. He didn't answer. That was the answer. I didn't speak after that. I just looked at him. He stood up and walked out. I stayed in my room for days. Bella knocked too. Aria, can we talk? She said. No, I answered. But she kept coming back. One evening, I opened the door. She said, I didn't want to hurt you. But you did, I said. I didn't mean for this to happen. You could have stopped it, I said. But you didn't. She started to cry. Henry is a good man. He didn't know what to do. I shook my head. He knew. You both knew. She walked away after that. Weeks passed. I tried to be okay, but my heart still hurt. I saw them at college sometimes. They walked together. They laughed. People looked at them and smiled. No one knew the story behind it. Then one Sunday morning, my mother called me. Aria, she said, we have something to tell you. I sat at the table. My father was there too. My mom said, Bella is getting married. To who? I asked. She looked at me, her face quiet. To Henry. I felt like the chair moved under me. When? I asked. In 1 month, she said. I didn't speak. I stood up and went to my room. They didn't stop the wedding. No one did. I got an invitation in the mail. It had my name on it. It said, please join us to celebrate the love between Bella and Henry. I tore it into pieces, but I still had to go. My parents begged me, please, Aria, be strong. I didn't want to be strong. I wanted to scream, but I said yes. On the wedding day, I wore a simple blue dress. I stood at the back of the hall. I watched as Bella walked in with flowers. I watched as Henry waited for her. When they said their vows, I felt my heart break again. They kissed. People clapped. I stood still. Later, Henry came to me. I'm sorry, he said. Do you love her? I asked again. He said nothing. That was enough. I walked away. I am sharing my story, hoping they reach someone. Are you there? Are you listening? If so, let me know. Drop a hello or tell me where you're listening from. Just knowing you're here means everything. After the wedding, I did not speak to Bella or Henry for many weeks. I went to college, but I avoided them. I did not go to family dinners. I stayed quiet. At home, my parents said, "Arya, we miss you at dinner." I only smiled. I didn't want to eat with people who did not protect my heart. I started walking alone in the evenings. I walked to the park and sat on the same bench every day. It was quiet there. I watched the trees. I listened to the wind. Sometimes I cried. Sometimes I just sat with no words in my mind. I felt empty inside. One day, Bella came to the park. She sat beside me. I didn't look at her. "Arya," she said, "please talk to me." I didn't answer. She looked down. "I know you hate me, but I miss you," I said softly. "You had a choice. You chose him." She didn't speak. I stood up. "You broke something. Some things don't come back." I walked away. After that, I stopped going to the park. A few days later, my professor at college asked me, "Arya, are you okay? You don't speak in class. You don't smile." I said, "I'm fine." But I wasn't. That evening, I looked in the mirror. My face looked tired. My eyes looked sad. I didn't feel like myself. I didn't dress up anymore. I didn't laugh. I just moved through the day like a shadow. I started writing in a small notebook. I wrote about the day Henry first said he loved me. I wrote about our first movie, our first kiss, our dreams. Then I wrote about the cafe where I saw him with Bella. I wrote about the wedding. I wrote until my hand hurt. It helped a little. I also stopped going to family events, birthdays, parties. I didn't want to see them together. My mom said, "Arya, you can't stay angry forever." But she didn't know how deep the pain was. One evening, my father came to my room. He sat beside me. "Arya," he said, "I know this is hard, but you need to live your life again. You are strong." I looked at him. "I don't feel strong." He smiled. "That's okay, but one day you will." After that, I started going to the library again. I read books. I liked stories where women were strong, women who were hurt but still stood tall. I saw Henry one day near the library. He was alone. He looked at me and said, "Arya, how are you?" I said, "I'm okay." He looked down. "I think of you often." I didn't answer. "I miss our talks," he said. I looked at him and asked, "Why did you come here?" "I just wanted to say I'm sorry again," he said. "But you already married her," I replied. He nodded slowly. "I did," I said. "Then there's nothing left to say." And I walked away. Later that night, Bella sent me a message. "Henry is not the same. He is quiet. I think he misses you." I didn't reply. It was not my job to fix what they broke. One morning, I decided to change something. I cleaned my room. I opened the windows. I threw away old pictures. I kept one photo, the one of me and my mother on my graduation day. I was smiling in that photo. I wanted to find that girl again. I also started painting. I was not very good, but I liked the colors. It helped me feel calm. I drew trees, skies, and simple houses. Nothing perfect. Just soft pictures that made me feel better. I joined a book club. The first day I was nervous, but the people were nice. They talked about the stories. I liked listening. I didn't say much at first, but each week I spoke a little more. One girl named Eliza became my friend. She had short hair and a big laugh. "You're quiet," she said, "but I like that." We started meeting after the club. She told me about her dog. I told her about my old dog, Lucky. He died when I was 10. We laughed and shared snacks. It felt good to have someone to talk to. One day, Eliza said, "You're very kind, Arya. I'm glad I met you." I smiled. Me too. For the first time in many months, I felt warm inside. At home, my mom noticed the change. "You look brighter," she said. "I feel a little better," I said. She hugged me. "I'm proud of you." I didn't cry that time, but then something strange happened. Bella called me one evening. I didn't answer. Then she sent a message. "Can we talk? Please? It's important." I didn't want to reply, but something inside me said yes. We met the next day at a cafe. It was the same one where I once saw her and Henry together. I felt nervous. Bella looked tired. Her face had no makeup. Her eyes looked red. She said, "Things are not good." I didn't say anything. She continued, "Henry is distant. He doesn't talk much. He says he needs space." I looked at her. "So why are you telling me?" She whispered, "Because I think he still loves you." Those words hit me hard. She looked at me. "Do you still love him?" I didn't answer. She said, "If you do, I'll let him go." I stood up. "That's not love, Bella. You don't give him like a gift. You fight for love. Or you walk away." I left the cafe. My heart was beating fast. That night, I thought a lot. I looked at the sky from my window. I asked myself, do I still love him? The answer was not easy. I remembered how he made me feel, how he looked at me, how he said I was his world. But I also remembered how he chose Bella, how he broke me, how he let me stand alone at the wedding. And I knew something clearly now. Love must be honest. Love must be kind. Love should not hurt so much. I didn't want Henry back. I wanted myself back. The next morning, I felt light. I had not felt that way in a long time. It was not joy, but it was peace. I knew now that I did not want Henry back. I also did not want revenge. I only wanted peace in my heart. I went back to my old cafe. I took my notebook. I ordered a cup of tea. I sat near the window. I wrote about what Bella said. I wrote about what I felt. I wrote, I loved him. He broke my heart. But I am still here. That was true. I was still here. I was breathing. I was healing. And that was enough for now. A few days later, Bella came to my room. She stood at the door. She looked small, like a child. "Can I come in?" she asked. I looked at her for a moment, then said, "Yes." She sat on my bed. She looked at her hands. "I'm sorry," she said again. "I know I keep saying it, but I don't know what else to say." I sat in my chair. "Bella, I don't hate you." She looked up fast. "You don't?" "No," I said, "but I don't trust you." She nodded slowly. "I understand." "I lost something," I said. "You took someone I loved. That pain, it's hard to forget." She looked like she wanted to cry. "I thought I loved him too, but it feels wrong now. He doesn't talk. He walks away. I don't know who he is anymore." I didn't speak. She said, "Maybe he never really loved me." I looked at her. "Or maybe he doesn't know how to love at all." She stood up. "I just wanted you to know, I don't think we will stay together. I can't live with someone who still thinks about you." I didn't reply. She left my room without saying goodbye. After that day, I saw Bella less. My mother said they were having problems. I didn't ask. It was not my story anymore. I kept going to the book club. I spent time with Eliza. I started running in the mornings. I felt stronger. My heart still had old pain, but my days felt brighter. Then, something unexpected happened. One evening, I was walking home from the library. A man was walking toward me. He looked familiar. It was Henry. He stopped in front of me. "Arya," he said. I stood still. "Can we talk?" he asked. I said nothing. "Please," he said. "Just 5 minutes." I nodded. We sat on a bench near the street. He looked at the ground. "Bella left," he said. I looked at him. "Why?" She said I was not with her fully. She said I never gave her all of me. "And were you?" I asked. "No," he said. "I couldn't. My heart was never hers. I felt something deep inside, but it didn't hurt. Not like before. I was weak," he said. "I was confused. I should never have hurt you." "You didn't just hurt me," I said. "You broke me." He nodded. "I know." We sat in silence for a while. Then he said, "I still love you." I looked at him. "That's not enough." He looked shocked. "Why?" "Because love must be strong, and kind, and true. You loved me, but you left me. You chose my sister. You stood at the altar with her." He closed his eyes for a moment. "I made the biggest mistake of my life." I stood up. "I'm not angry anymore, Henry, but I don't want you back." He looked at me. His eyes were sad. "I understand." "I hope you find peace," I said. "Do you think you will ever forgive me?" I paused. "Maybe one day, but I will never forget." And then I walked away. I didn't cry. I didn't feel broken. I felt strong. I felt like myself again. Weeks passed. I started writing more. I I even shared one of my short stories at the book club. People clapped. Eliza smiled wide and said, "You're really good, Arya." I smiled. "Thank you." One evening, I sat by my window. The sky was orange and pink. I held my notebook and wrote the final line of my journal. I loved, I lost, I lived, and now I choose me. The pain was part of my story, but it was not the end. I hope have enjoyed the story. Like and comment if you want to hear more soon.